I actually had that thought. Good morning, Unity of Medina. We have a snow crowd here. Those who are willing to drive. We have a month that is really committed to grace. Just think about it, and to understand that grace is not passive, it's power. When someone has grace and walks in a room, they change the room. And it's just a lovely, lovely commitment. And we're doing it with all of Unity who are using the Unity calendar and also using the Unity meditation in the Let's Pray. So we have a lot of people in the month of January thinking about grace. And so I'd like to read a prayer. I brought the way of kindness because my talk is about kindness. It's about deliberate kindness, which is what I got out of this book. And I know, we've all been studying for so long. And, it's like, oh, what could you possibly say about kindness? Well, there's a book. And there's different authors. I'm not selling books, by the way, but there are different authors in this book that have a lot to say about kindness and how important it is and how we forget. And, in this time in our country and in the world, we don't look at kindness as a power. We don't look at grace as a power, but these are powerful tools to change our world. So if you would just join me as we quietly read this prayer. It's called Kindly Light, and is by Eugene Thurman, who was a Marianal priest. I get much satisfaction from helping others, especially here in Hong Kong. He was a missionary. However, I am not comfortable receiving help from others. Still, the kindest thing I can do for others is to let them do something for me. People bring me fruit, cookies, and awful tasting medicine for my ailments. Sometimes they give me a red packet and say, buy something to eat. These gifts come from people who are certainly much poorer than I am. But it would be devastating to tell someone, you are too poor to give me a gift. I need to let people love me and then later figure out how to redistribute the gifts they have given me. How hard it is sometimes for us to receive. How easy it is for us to give. So if we could use our conscious choice to reverse those and just receive with that same ease that we give. And to know that that is a great gift to our brothers and sisters. And so it is. Amen. Angie's gonna play us in.
Yeah, wait, wrong song. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, yeah, and a light unto my path. You guys sound great. Okay. When I feel afraid, think I lost my way, still guys sound great.
Really great. Thank you, Angie. That got us all going this morning. Welcome again to Unity of Medina. Here at Unity, we affirm our core values of integrity, joy, acceptance, love, and spiritual growth. January is the power of faith. Donna will light the blue candle behind me. As she's lighting the candle, let us affirm together our affirmation for the month of faith. Faith blesses my day and paves my way. Today's daily word is power. My thoughts and words reflect my divine inheritance. When I listen to my inner conversation, recurring thoughts, I may hear fear-based, limiting talk, or I may hear positive words encouraging me to live joyfully and confidently. The choice is mine. Through my divine gift of power, I take command of my thoughts and my life. I release thoughts of powerlessness, and as I do, my negative self-talk diminishes. I affirm my divine inheritance of faith, wisdom, understanding, and strength with my thoughts, words, and actions. The power to live a full life is mine. I embrace insights I've gained through experience. I own my mistakes without shame or embarrassment. I am eager to learn. I am willing to try new things and stretch myself in power. I thrive. Today's passage is from Proverbs 18:21. Death and life are in our power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruits. Now, Angie will prepare us for meditation.
And so today, we are practicing receiving. So as we allow this Christ light that always is with us to open our mind, to give us the power of word, to open our heart, so that we can give soul to soul all the gifts that we have been freely given. So to receive requires grace. We sit in grace, we receive in grace. In our gratitude, we say a simple thank you. Thank you. thank you for all the kindness you give to me. So in this room, as we give, let us receive. So we receive from that person in front of us. We receive from that person behind us. We receive from the left of us. And we receive from the right of us. So as the Native Americans say in the web, the mother web, we receive from each other. And oh, how grateful we are that the kindness in this room can change the world as we give and as we receive, so that the loneliness is healed and the wanting is healed and the fear is healed, the panic is healed, because we live the law. The law is giving and receiving are one. So we are so grateful that we have a place to come to practice. For kindness takes practice. Giving takes practice. And receiving takes practice. So as we go into the silence and we listen to that still small voice, and we go deeper within ourselves and listen, and one step deeper into that soul energy that is us, we listen. And so, as the meditation song says, oh, what an awakening. As we listen to the words of Course in Miracles, where would you have me go? What would you have me do? What would you have me say? And to whom? And as we listen, and as we awake, we do it. We do kindness. We do love. We do peace. We do compassion. And we are so grateful to have a place to come to practice. We are so blessed. On this snowy morning, we have a warm place to be. So, this deliberate kindness, which the way of kindness is something that you actually have to practice. And that's what I've learned about all this. We have to practice. We are created the Christ, but we have to practice being the Christ. It's so strange to me that you can be doing this for how many years and you still have to practice, because all of a sudden you say an unkind word. And you can see it. Words just slap you. And so someone actually said to me, Donna, you have such a talent. You can tell someone off with a smile on your face. I'm not proud of it, but I think it's true. So I want to read you Mark Twain's word, this is a book report, by the way. I let you know when I do a book report. This is a book report. I let you know when I do Charles Fillmore or Myrtle Fillmore teachings. So this deliberate kindness is something that I like the title because it tells you have to be deliberate in your spirituality, in your giving, and also in your receiving. So kindness is the language which the deaf can hear and the blind can see. Mark Twain. Think about that. The deaf can hear and the blind can see. And how true that is. And if we live it and keep it simple. See, everybody wants to be fancy, And my spiritual teacher, Jean Oosten, as I was studying with her, and it was such an intensive study, and the message I got was to be a simple light. So I live it. And it's kind of, I have nothing fancy to offer. But I live that simple light because I know, after study and getting to know who I am, that that's what my purpose here is. And so I don't have any regrets about living that light. And I tell the kids, my grandkids, I have 7 of them, when you get a message about who you are. So, of course, I have a child studying philosophy and his parents don't like me. What can I say? But, when you get those messages, he, loves it. It's like his passion. Well, what do you do with that? So he added a few other majors with it, but, he just loves philosophy. And so to know that you're going to be guided and directed, and it may not even make any sense to you. And so the Dalai Lama says, my religion is very simple. My religion is kindness. So when we're looking for our purpose, people don't ask that so much anymore, but people used to always want to know their purpose. And, I don't know what my purpose is, to annoy John, I know that. I'm good at it, right, John? But how do you know what your purpose is? First of all, to live one day at a time. To live one day at a time being loving and kind and patient and compassionate. That stuff is hard. It's powerful. And to realign yourself with what is power. Is power just creating in the world, or is power creating from inside of your soul and heart and then creating in the world? We love doing YOU, and of course I had 3 kids in it, but we never told the kids not to function in the world. We told the kids, get in touch with your heart and soul, and then function in the world. And I got to tell you, these kids are powerful. And they've got big jobs. And so it's what we have to do in life is to use what we know and see how it works, because you're going to prove it to yourself. So I found the 10 commandments of kindness. And I just thought, that'll be fun to talk about, and especially now that we have a snowstorm. You're here for a while anyway. So to understand, this is James Kroger, I think it's Kroger, and he's a Maryknoll priest. These are missionaries that were working in Hong Kong, and they did great work there. And the prayer I read in the beginning was another missionary that was working in Hong Kong. So the first commandment is meditate on God's kindness. Now, I don't know if we ever think about that. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His loving kindness endures forever. That's Psalm 106. I love the Psalms. But isn't that great? Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His loving kindness endures forever. Growth in virtue needs constant openness to God's assistance. Do we even think about that? That our virtue, the things that we want to bring to this world, require constant openness to God's assistance. So the bottom line is ask for help. You don't have to be the be-all and end-all. Ask for help. My daughter and I were just praying on the phone yesterday. I don't know if they appreciate that, but they called me. And because she's looking for an assistant, and of course you want it to be the right match. Well, I don't know how to do the world. I mean, I can do the world, but I don't know how really. As my one sponsor said to me, don't play the game, you don't know the rules. And it's true. But I knew how to pray that the right and perfect assistant come for the interview. And if they're not the right and perfect one, then something better. Not someone better, that's mean. Something better. So cultivate, commandment 2, cultivate an attitude of gratitude. Well, we talk a lot about that here. Grateful people are at peace with themselves, with others, and with what they have. If you see grateful people, they're just like at peace. They don't have an agenda. And they say that gratitude is a mature personality. Well, that's something that I really want to show the world. I mean, I fool around and I'm silly and everything, but I do want to have a mature personality. The triple truth given to us by Buddha: a generous heart, kind speech, and a life of service. And compassion are the things which renew humanity. We all want to renew humanity. We all look out and say, what the heck's going on? Why? Well, Buddha, one of the greatest teachers, gives us the map: a generous heart, kind speech, a life of service. David knows about that. It's all true. And compassion are the things that renew humanity. We can do this. And that's why I speak into a microphone at my age, because I want people to know that I believe that. And so I'll tell my truth as long as I can. The third commandment is appreciate your own goodness. Now that's funny, but low self-esteem is a hindrance to practicing kindness. Isn't that something that, I just shared with a granddaughter. She is so talented beyond belief in 100 different ways. And sometimes she'll say, and I said, no, that low self-esteem is not grace. Grace is when you realize you're the Christ and that you can change the world. And with these kindness traits, which are honesty, friendliness, generosity, compassion, goodness, justice, and caring. Since God has loved us so much, we should love one another. John 4:11. So to understand that, and I do, Reverend Barbara used to say that, Donna, you make fun of yourself all the time. I said, well, I just play. But sometimes if it's low self-esteem, it's destructive. If it's playfulness, we're just having fun. But if it's low self-esteem, then I am stopping myself from seeing the good in others. If I see the good in myself, I automatically, like a microscope, can see the good in others. And then I use their talent to give to this community. It's just a great gift. And if I get into low self-esteem, then I'm, So keep that self-esteem up. It's not bragging, it's loving yourself. Empathize with others. I used to be a recruiter. I did that for 12 years. And one of our jobs was light industrial. And everybody always goes, why don't he just get a job and she just get a, they had all sorts of things. And then I got to work with a population that was making not so much money hourly. Empathize is the ability to walk in the shoes of others and see life from his or her perspective. Boy, did I see life. Like I saw life like there's no bus fare. I'd love to get to work, or I got the car, but I don't have the gas for the car. Or the guy who I adored went to work every day, but he must have worked second because he got home late. Worked every day hard, great heart. I loved him. Gets home with his paycheck, gets beat up, 30 staples in his head. Start looking at people's lives and say, oh, why don't they just get a job? That sounds easy to say, right? Easy to say. It's just amazing. And then after he healed from the 30 staples in his head, he asked me to come down for a barbecue because he was cooking ribs. And of course, I always tell the truth. I said, are you crazy? You think I'm going down there? I'm not going down there. Bring me the ribs. I'll take them. But we are allowed to tell each other the truth in love and play so that we all don't feel so different. Plato said, be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle. We don't know what people are dealing with. We are made kind by being kind. So it takes practice, and that's the 5th commandment. Practice deliberate kindness. And for me, what that means is you have to think. You have to think with your intellect and with your heart and have them combine. So a power of a smile, a touch, a listening ear, a kind word, the smallest act of kindness. To know that no act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. When you do an act of kindness, I had to call the insurance company, and this woman on the line, usually customer service is, they're grouchy, we're grouchy, everybody's grouchy because you got to do customer service and you got to get information. This woman was so wonderful. And I let her know that because we have to let people know when they're being kind. We have to talk up what people are doing that help humanity. So the 6th commandment is employ kind speech always. I love this line from James 1:26. Nobody must imagine that he is religious while not keeping control over his tongue. That's why our churches are empty, because the young people are on to us. You know that. I saw you smile, Michelle. They're on to us because, we speak up about how religious we are while we don't have control of our tongue. And they can see. They got radar seeing. So we have to be able to have our actions match our words, and we have to be able to have our words match our Christ, and then they'll see it. And our church is full. Talk about ideas and not faults of others. That's a great discipline that I use for myself. Because, of course, I have radar. What do they call it? In ACA, you're hyper aware of the way, the way you were raised, so you're hyper aware. So I'm hyper aware. I see everything. And but it's a discipline I use. Talk about ideas and events, not faults of others. And then when I fall, because we have to be easy on ourselves. We all fall, But we can stand up because we've got these principles. So judge others compassionately. So how you do that, no matter who you're speaking to, is you say, help me understand. Help me understand. What is it you're going through? And you have an atmosphere of trust and openness. And to understand, John and I wrote this affirmation on our CD, compassion is the action. Compassion is the action. It's the only way. And as we go to 8, forgive from the heart. You know how you know you've really forgiven? Is when you can tell a story and you don't feel it. Because sometimes, especially in 12-step background, sometimes you have to tell your story. So it doesn't mean that you haven't forgiven. But you'll know you've forgiven if you can tell your story and you don't feel it. That you know you're doing service. And you can let someone know, oh yeah, I've been there. You can be a witness to God's love. The unconditional act of forgiveness can change where we thought change was impossible. My son had anger issues. If anybody's raised boys, they know anger issues. Just because they're guys, and that's their maturity. That's how they mature. And so I didn't know what to do, and I wasn't really skilled in my parenting, but I was skilled in love. I always had loved. And so I started praying. And it was actually someone in program who said, pray for your children. And I can tell you, pray for your spouse, pray for your children, pray for your dog. Pray for the problem that you're having. So I started praying because I didn't know how to handle this. We did practical things like John got him a great bike and he'd get angry and I'd say, get on the bike. Off he'd go and ride it out, So we could do the physical therapy part of it. But what do you do with this anger and where's it coming from? And so we started praying for him. And so one night I'm sitting on his bed, and he was probably 12. I was sitting on his bed as he was going to bed, and I said, oh my gosh, Scott. I said, you haven't been angry in a long time. And he said, oh, where did that go? Prayer. This stuff is powerful. This stuff is powerful. Okay, here's my favorite one. Admit your narcissism. Me? I'm sitting in church. How can I be narcissistic? It's funny because humanly, we are always in danger of succumbing to the downfall of pride rather than the upward push of grace, our month of grace. So, we all fall to pride in one way or another. These are my feelings and my needs. I don't hear that so much anymore. I used to hear that all the time, and, I'd be going, oh, please. And then the leap from self-concern to concern for others. And to know, you've heard of the wounded healer. We're allowed to start healing when we're a friggin' mess. As long as you stick to truth and your truth, you can be the wounded healer. And it works. Because no one is, when they're hurting, is calling for someone on a pedestal. No one. They're calling for someone who can sit with them and feel with them and say, oh yeah, I remember. And the last of the 10 commandments, David said I could talk short because talk a minute for each person, right? David's my coach. Anyway, pray, meditate, seek inner peace. So, as I encourage you to be a wounded healer, I also encourage you to pray, meditate, and seek inner peace. Be on purpose. Be the change that you want to see in others. Listen to that still small voice as we did in meditation. There's a lot going on inside of us. I remember when Jean Houston would say, she'd put us into meditation, and she'd say, you know, you are part of the universe, and as we're in this deep, deep meditation, but then she would say, and the universe is in you. And so as you would be in meditation, you would begin to feel the vastness of your inner self. So when we're asking you to listen to that still small voice, you know, it's funny, when I first was studying metaphysics and spirituality, you know, I was childlike, which is what the Bible asks for. Just to let you know, not naive, childlike. Anyway, so I didn't understand anything, you know. And I knew communion, and I loved communion, and I knew doing this at communion, and that was meditating. I mean, I just really loved some certain things. And so when people would say go within, I thought it was the exact shape of my body. I thought that was within. It was smaller then. I'm not going to make myself out. Anyway, so I would go within. And I mean, you know, like within was like in my hand and in my, you know, arm, and that was my within. And then when Jean Houston said, no, within is the space of the universe. And the answers are that vast. And that's what you're listening to, is that power, which is the 12 powers that we are. And that was teaching for me, because I didn't know. Because I just didn't know. So, pray, meditate, and seek inner peace is a vastness. And so in closing, I just want to read Mother Teresa. Be faithful in same thing, in small things, because it is in them that your strength lies. Be faithful in small things, because it is in them that your strength lies. It's that bringing someone a cup of coffee, or being kind to someone, or putting someone first, or holding a door. Whatever it is that you can give that's small. You know, I did a silly thing the other day. My granddaughter and daughter came over, and I hadn't seen them since before Christmas, because they went to Europe. So they got to ski the Alps, excuse me. Yeah. She said to me, and naively, darling, she's 16. She goes, Grandma, do you know some of my friends have never been to Europe? I said, oh, really? So it's just out of innocence. But she was like shocked by that, you know. So anyway, they had brought us candy. They had brought us chocolate. And they got the chocolate bar to us. So John and I saved 2 little squares of chocolate for them when they were coming over. Now that's a silly, kind act. But you know what happened was my daughter had bought chocolate for everybody, including her children, but never got to taste it. Now, that's a silly, kind act. And yet, it meant, so, oh, good, I'll get to taste it. I mean, we can do silly things that don't take $1. And yet they fill up your heart and soul. So, small kindnesses. And my favorite line, and I think it's to Mother Teresa, I love this line. We are all pencils in the hand of God. Isn't that a great line? We are all pencils in the hand of God. Thank you for listening.
I thought this would fit with your talk today. It's called, you know what? I'm actually not sure what the title is. Nothing More. That's what it is. But I thought of this as soon as I read what the talk was. To be humble, to be kind, it is a giving of the peace in your mind. To a stranger, to a friend, to give in such a way that has no end. We are love, we are one, we are how we treat each other when the day is done. We are peace, we are war, we are how we treat each other and nothing more. To be bold, to be brave, it is a thinking that the heart can still be saved, and the darkness will come quick. The dangers and the anger and the hanging on to it. We are love, we are one, we are how we treat each other when the day is done. We are peace, we are war, we are how we treat each other and nothing more. And tell me, what is it you see? A world that's full of endless possibilities, and heroes don't look like they used to, they look like you do. We are love, we are one, we are how we treat each other when the day is done. We are peace, we are war, we are how we treat each other and nothing more. We are how we treat each other and nothing more. We are how we treat each other.
That was beautiful. I'm going to clear something up. I never told Donna she could talk a minute for each person that was here. What I told her was, an old farmer once said, when the weather's bad and the whole herd doesn't show up, I don't throw off the whole load of hay. So that's what I told her. But she did remind me in her talk of the five most powerful words that were ever delivered by the great prophet Popeye. Is I am what I am. So that's who we are. Announcements for today. Please join Unity Medina Environmental Discussion Group on Tuesday, February 7th at 7 p.m. right here, this location. Our Women's History celebration is at noon on Sunday, March 5th, and I'm told it's going to be about the heroes of World War II, the female aviators that were the unsung heroes, and that ought to be an interesting presentation. Save the date. The summer picnic will be on July 16th at Memorial Park, just down the street from here. We've had our picnics there before, and it was a very nice venue for our picnic. So Also, I was reminded that we have not recognized the birthdays for January. Who do we have that has birthdays in January? Betty? And Sandy? And John? John just left, but, okay, well,
And it would have been Fred 98 this week.
that's right. All right. So can we do a happy birthday song?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
All right. Now Donna will lead us in our blessing of one another and any of the guests that are here with us today. And I'm done.
Okay, so that's true that David talked about the farmer. And I can't relate. So anyway, that's human nature. He says something and I hear it a different way. So we don't have anybody here new today, so we'll bless each other. So let's do that, especially because we got lots of birthdays here too. We bless you. We appreciate you. We behold the Christ in you. Thank you for being here. So I do thank you for being here. And I ask you to take your tithes and love offerings in your hands and know that this is just a beautiful community. And Margene will share with you also that we have heard from so many people that they feel the energy in the room. And I think Sandy even shared her groups when we're not here. So this energy is the love and the compassion energy and the kindness energy we're talking about. When we're not here, the groups that are here, you had said your group likes it too, David. So we are doing our work. And I want you to know that because it's important work. And sometimes people count heads instead of hearts, you know? So we're doing important work. So take your tithes and love offerings so that we can continue offering our community to the neighborhood and to anyone seeking spirituality and divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. We are grateful.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful for all that we have. We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful. We are so blessed.
So we are so blessed with the generous hearts of everyone who's here. Thank you for your generous giving. Thank you for showing up on a snowy morning. Thank you for being you, the Christ that you are. And we thank you all for trusting us with your prayers, to ask us to lift up and lift out if you are in a strained situation or to celebrate with great joy your goodness, your blessings to this community and our world, our country and our world. We know that kindness works. We know that love works. We know that compassion works. So let us continue to give. And also, as we were reminded today, to receive. And so it is. Amen and amen. So I have no idea what our circle is going to look like today. Intimate. But it's going to be great. And we're going to sing because we sound good.
I think so.